We're only 2 weeks into the 2017 NFL season, so we're still forming an understanding of which players will be consistent point producers outside of the obvious superstars. Given that the fantasy football season still is young, the waiver wire should be rich with talent across the board that can help you boost your team. Not to mention, matchups are critical in fantasy, so you might be looking for a player who's going up against lackluster defenses in the coming weeks. Whatever your needs might be, they more than likely can be solved with a look over the waiver wire. So, which players are worthy of adding ahead of Week 3? Here are the best players at each position owned in 65% or less of Yahoo Fantasy leagues. Quarterback Trevor Siemian, Denver Broncos 12% owned in Yahoo leagues. The knock on the Broncos dating back to last season is that they're a quarterback away from being one of the best teams in the league. Well, Siemian is starting to make these doubters eat their words. The young QB turned in a solid performance in his team's 42-17 win over the Dallas Cowboys, completing 22 of 32 pass attempts for 231 yards with 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. Siemian has a slew of weapons at his disposal, such as star wideouts Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders, as well as versatile back C.J. Anderson. Not to mention, Denver will face an average Buffalo Bills defense in Week 3, followed by an underwhelming Oakland Raiders defense in Week 4. If you need QB, Siemian could be the answer. Other quarterbacks to target: Deshaun Watson, Jay Cutler, MIA running back Chris Thompson. Washington Redskins 28% owned. Thompson had a solid Week 1, but the versatile running back really turned it on in Week 2. Thompson thrashed the Los Angeles Rams defense as he ripped off 77 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns on just 3 carries. He also hauled in 3 catches for 29 yards. Thompson's role could be increased in Week 3, though, as Washington's starting running back Robert Kelly was forced to exit Sunday's game with a rib injury. Thompson effectively has become quarterback Kirk Cousins' security blanket, and he could wind up being the same for fantasy football players. Other running backs to pursue: Javorius Allen-Bowell, Jalen Richard, Rex Burkhead. Northeast wide receiver J.J. Nilsson. Arizona Cardinals 19% owned. The Cardinals were expected to be a ground and pound team heading into the season, but unfortunate circumstances will prevent that from happening. Star running back David Johnson will be sidelined with a wrist injury for 2 to 3 months, putting Arizona's offense entirely on the shoulders of quarterback Carson Palmer. In the Cardinals' first game after losing Johnson, Nelson became the beneficiary in the passing attack. The speedy wideout corralled 5 catches for 120 yards with 1 touchdown in Arizona's 13-10 overtime win over the Indianapolis Colts. Nelson can take the top off opposing defenses, and he should become a consistent fantasy player with Johnson out of action. Other wide receivers to target: Allen Hurns, Brandon Coleman, Kenny Stills, MIA tight end David Njoku. Cleveland Browns 7% owned. The Browns have a number of exciting young prospects, and Njoku might be chief among them. Cleveland selected the Miami product with the number 29 overall pick in this year's draft, and he's already making his presence known in the team's offense. He caught 3 passes for 27 yards with 1 touchdown in the Browns' Week 2 contest against the Baltimore Ravens. At 6'4" and 246 pounds, Njoku presents imposing size and makes for an ideal target in the red zone. Look for Njoku to become a favorite target among Cleveland quarterbacks. Other tight ends to pursue: Antonio Gates, South Dakota. Thumbnail photo via Gary A. Vasquez. Today Sports Images.